In today's video, we will be taking a look at my updated 2024 house prediction. This will be my second 2024 house prediction I've ever done on this YouTube channel. So we'll get right into this video. Now, as you can see right now, this is the consensus on the 270 to win website. Democrats at 199 seats to Republicans at 210. So I'm going to start off by looking at the first state in alphabetical order. Alabama, nothing to change there. Alaska. Alaska is actually interesting. Mary Pelta, I think she'll end up winning re-election. It's going to be really close though, because again, this is a presidential year. Again, this consensus, it's for it to actually label it as lean Democrat means it's actually pretty definitive. Also, it does look like the GOP might not be able to unite around one candidate. Nonetheless, this is a presidential election year, but I'll still give Alaska to Mary Pelta. Now, Arizona does have two competitive seats here. First off, the 4th district, I would not say this is actually safe for the Democrats. I'll put it as likely. Now, the 1st and 6th districts are both in contention for the Democrats. Now, the less of the 6th district, the 6th district does have a Republican incumbent who is in a district, I believe, in a Trump district. So, June Tsunami should be able to win re-election. However, it does look like that David Shortenkurt, who is in a Biden district, I believe, and also in a district where many voters are relatively more moderate. He is a pretty extreme candidate. He could have some issues. At the end of the day, though, I do see him holding on. Now, Arkansas, nothing really there. California does have several important districts, 4 toss-up districts that could decide how the House elections in 2024 will go. Again, this really depends on the presidential election year, how that turns out. The 13th district with currently John Durante, who narrowly defeated his Democratic opponent by less than 1 percentage point. Again, this is a pretty close race. It's a district I believe that Democrats, I think, will have a good chance of flipping, because this is a presidential year. Democrats are definitely going to overperform their House election results in the state of California, so I'm going to have to put this in the Democratic category. Now, David Valadao, he won by a pretty impressive margin. He is a blue dog, I would say, a candidate that's relatively more liberal, a moderate or even neoliberal type of candidate in the 22nd district. He should be able to hold on to his seat, though this will be very close. Now, the 27th district, this is also going to be pretty close here. Really, Mike Garcia did do very well this election. He won by more than 6 points against his Democratic challenger. Nonetheless, this will definitely be close in the presidential election year. He is a more extreme candidate, which I'm pretty shocked that he actually won by that much, because again, California is a pretty blue state, and even most of the Republicans there are relatively more moderate. So it's interesting how he won by a substantial margin despite being a relatively more extreme candidate who voted to overturn the 2020 presidential election results. So for Katie Porter, I think Katie Porter, who is retiring to run for U.S. Senate. Now, this race could be definitely very close because she is retiring. Nonetheless, I think Democrats will hold on. Now, going to the state of Colorado here, but before that, I would still look at California right now. The other seats are really not that competitive. We have a little bit more of the competitive seats. Michelle Steele, Ken Calvert, but these are Republicans that will hold on. Now, Colorado. We have 4 safe blue seats. The 7th district, I think, Brittany Peterson, this will be a likely seat, not a safe seat. But otherwise, the Democratic seats just look just fine. Now, looking at some of the other seats here, there's only really 2 competitive seats. The 8th district with a Democratic incumbent. The Democrat narrowly won by less than 1 percentage point in 2022. This will be a very close race. Nonetheless, again, this is a presidential election year, which could favor the Democrats, considering they have a better appeal in some of the suburban areas. Now, 3rd district was unexpectedly close. Lauren Boebert nearly lost re-election, and again, she is going to seek re-election by all means, and this will not be good news for her. She underran Donald Trump's performance in the district by like 6 or 7 points. So that was not very good from Lauren Boebert. Nonetheless, this is a presidential election year, so she should be able to win re-election. Connecticut, nothing really there. Again, the 5th District, Jenna Hayes, a pretty bad candidate. Nonetheless, she was able to win re-election back in 2022. She should win re-election again. Delaware, Florida, again, there's not many competitive seats. Not any competitive seats, in fact, thanks to gerrymandering. Georgia, again, gerrymandering, pretty much eliminating all the competitive seats here. Hawaii, nothing really here. Idaho, nothing. Illinois, you see that there are 3 Republican districts, but the other ones are characterized as blue because, again, Democrats gerrymandered the state also very, very well. You can see some of the districts completely look ridiculous. Nonetheless, I think the 13th will be likely because this isn't that blue of a seat. The 17th district, again, this is very close, but I barely want to see. I'm going to put it as tilt rather than lean. The 14th district, I'm going to have to put this as lean. I don't actually think Lord Underwood could win by that much. Now going to Indiana. The 1st district, again, the incumbent there actually won by, Frank Murrin actually won by 17 points in 2020. However, the district got much closer in 2022. In 2024, I expect him to hold on, but this will be a close district. Iowa, nothing really there. Kansas, the 3rd district, Sharice Davids again should be able to win. He's not gonna retire, which would help Democrats hold on to the seat, despite this district actually being characterized as lean red by 270 to win back in 2022. Kentucky, nothing really there. Louisiana, nothing. Again, districts really look extremely weird. The state of Maine, the 2nd district, Jared Golden, who is running for a 3rd term, seeking for that 3rd term there. And there's interesting laws in the state of Maine, which there is pretty much ranked choice voting, where if a candidate does not reach 50%, there will be ranked choice voting. Again, not really sure if that's going to help the Democrats or hurt the Democrats. Regardless, this should still be a lean seat for Jared Golden. Maryland, nothing really there. David Throne, who was actually behind, according to New York Times, when 88% of the votes were counted, ended up winning by a likely margin. I think this will be a likely seat. Nonetheless, it's not going to be that competitive. Michigan here, so Michigan. We have the 8th district currently held by Dan Kindley. Elisa Slotkin is not running for re-election. She is seeking a bid for the U.S. Senate because Debbie Stabenow is not running for re-election. I think this race, it's going to be very, very close. I think Democrats, again, this was a narrow Biden seat, I believe, so I'll give it to the Democratic Party. John James is probably going to win the 10th. Hillary Slotkin, again, going to win the 3rd. The 8th district, which is by Dan Kindley, I'll put this as tilt for the Republicans. No, for the Democrats, sorry. Minnesota, nothing really there. Angie Craig, I think it's going to be very close. Nonetheless, she's going to win. Mississippi, nothing there. Missouri, nothing there. The state of Montana, the 1st district is closer. It's a new district. Ryan Zinke, however, should be able to win. The state of Nebraska, nothing really there. The 2nd district, Don Bacon. I think although this is a presidential year, we saw in 2020 he did hold on. So in 2024, probably he'll still hold on. Nevada, I think some of these districts should be closer than they are currently characterized as. Nonetheless, Democrats are still going to end up winning all 3 districts. New Hampshire, again, I think it's going to be closer on the presidential level than likely margins. However, both of these candidates do typically overperform their presidential election counterparts. But nonetheless, I'll put them as lean rather than likely. So, New Jersey, nothing really there, but there is one competitive district. The 7th district held by Tom Keene. The incumbent there, Tom Malinowski, in 2022 ended up losing re-election. Pretty unpopular candidate, to be honest. This was a district that was heavily blue on the presidential level. I think this district, the state will end up being a tilt seat for the GOP, given this is a Republican incumbent. Now, the 2nd district, Gabriel Vestres narrowly defeated his Republican incumbent candidate, and I think he's gonna win though. So that's gonna be the second district. New York, again, we have 5 Republicans that are seeking for re-election. At least they're currently looking like they're going to seek for re-election. Many of these seats are pretty close and pretty interesting. And again, the 5 competitive districts in New York could decide the House composition. First, let's go to the 4th district. And Anthony Sopoli, I believe, again, on a presidential election year, this could be pretty tough for the GOP to hold on to all 5 of these seats. I think this seat, though, it's going to be really close, but I think Democrats will end up flipping it just because this is a presidential election year. George Santos, someone who's pretty famous, or I should say infamous, having many calls for resignation, it looks like he's not going to resign. Thus, this seat is just going to go blue. If he doesn't resign, which looks like he won't, this district is just going to go blue. Michelle Lawler, though, I think she defeated a pretty strong Democrat who is a vice chairman of a organization that pretty much never loses. I think she'll be able to hold on to the seat. The 19th district, Mark Monalero, I think he'll end up holding his seat. In the 22nd district, Brandon Williams. This is going to be pretty close, but I think the GOP still hangs on, so that's 218 for GOP to 206 for Democrats. Again, we have to see. We have more of these states to see, and I could adjust some more seats. North Carolina, here we have a couple of competitive seats here, mainly because there is still potential redistricting to be gotten underway in the state of North Carolina, and I'm not really sure how they're going to draw the boundaries. Nonetheless, I think Democrats are favored in most of these seats. Because, again, the reason these are toss-up seats are because there is redistricting that will occur in the state of North Carolina. However, assuming this is the map that ends up being held on, the 14th district definitely going to be likely Democrat. The 6th district, Kathy Manning's seat, going to be lean Democrat. Wiki Nichols' seat going to be really, really close. But I think Democrats still hold on. And the 1st district, Don Davis, this should also go blue, assuming the map does not change. But again, I do realize that the map is likely going to change because the Supreme Court elections in North Carolina have been more favorable for the GOP. Ohio, again, the reason they're leaving these toss-up seats is because there is going to be redistricting that is underway in the state of Ohio, assuming nothing really changes. Greg's landslide, if the district doesn't change, will end up probably winning. Marcy Kaptur, again, she was actually expected to lose re-election potentially before her Republican challenger ended up having a bunch of ties with QAnon, dragged him down, and I think Marcy Kaptur is still going to win in 2024. The 13th district, currently held by Emily Skias. Again, this is a heavily trending Republican area, the Akron area, and some of the conservative areas around it. I think this district will go to the GOP, assuming the map does not change. Oklahoma, Pennsylvania, here we have 3 competitive seats. The 7th district, which is held by Susan Wild, I think this will be a tilt seat for the Democrats. Again, this district is made up of several competitive counties, and I think they will vote for Susan Wild. Matt Cartwright, who won in a Trump seat, I think this seat will go Republican at the end of the day because it is a presidential election, and a lot of these counties in this district is actually pretty rural. So the 17th district, Chris Delizino, I think is going to end up still winning. Oregon, here we have the 6th district and the 4th district, both held by Democrats. They should be able to win, though I would put the 4th district as lean. The 5th district by Lori Chavez de Ramnor. This is going to be really, really close, actually. She was able to win against her Democratic challenger, but it was by a competitive margin. I'm going to put this as tilt, but really things could easily change here. So Rhode Island, nothing there. South Carolina, nothing there. South Dakota, again, nothing. Tennessee, nothing. Texas, again, the maps got really solidified for both parties. There's not going to be any changes. Utah, nothing there. Vermont, nothing there. Now going to the state of Virginia. Virginia, there's really only two competitive seats that quote unquote competitive. The 7th district is just trending blue too much that district will not be competitive in like 10 years. Now, Jen Higgins could end up losing re-election, but I don't think so. I think it's still going to be for the Republicans in Virginia. Washington, Democrats won an unexpected seat, the Washington's 3rd district. Mary Perez won unexpectedly in a otherwise very Republican area. I think she'll end up losing, but this is very close. Kim Schumer, however, should be able to win re-election. West Virginia, nothing there. Wisconsin, there's only one so-called competitive seat, but it's again trending Republican to a point it will not be competitive in like 10 years' time. Nonetheless, it will be likely GOP. And Wyoming, nothing there. So that ends today's video. As you can see right here, 213 for Democrats, 222 for the Republicans. Consequentially, the exact same numbers from what we have right now. Now, the Democrats have gained, I think, 2 seats in a state like New York, for instance, while Republicans have gotten some gains in other states. Anyways, thank you for watching. Have a nice day. Goodbye.